Today, I'm going to show you how to use API to run deployment. There are many ways to run a deployment. For example, you can run manually from here. You can configure upstream integration. But in this session, I'm going to focus on the APIs. Here, you will see the mini documentation on how to use the APIs. And also, if you go to the documentation, you'll be able to see all the APIs that are available for you to interact with AI Hub. For example, this is the Batches APIs. These are the Runs API where you can use to run deployment, get results. And there are some APIs to create secrets to interact with files. For this session, I'll just focus on these first two sections, because that's what's necessary to run a deployment and get the results. Before we use these APIs, we need to get the API token. And to get the API token, you just need to go to Settings. If you go to Settings and API, you'll be able to create a new token. And you also need to get the org ID that is necessary for the APIs. Now let me show you how you can trigger a deployment for some documents. Here I have a script in Jupyter Notebook. But you can use this script anywhere in your system to interact with AI Hub. Now let's look at the Create Batch. Creating a batch essentially means you are creating a folder and you're uploading files to that particular folder so that you can use those files to run a deployment. First, we create a batch. You need to mention which workspace, org ID, and the token. And once you run this, create a batch ID. And then once you have the batch ID, you can use this batch ID to upload files to that particular batch. What I've done here is I have one single file in this particular folder. But you can upload more than one file based on your application. And then you can upload those files to particular batch. If you see it, I have mentioned the path from my local system. But if you're integrating with yours in your system, you can have this could be your block storage path or S3 bucket path. And once you upload these files, you should see that the file is uploaded successfully. Now what I'm going to do is now we have this batch. And now I uploaded one file to that batch. Now I'm going to use that batch ID to run a deployment. And similarly, to run deployment, you need to mention the org ID. And you also need to mention the deployment ID. And deployment ID, you can get it from here. If you open a deployment, this is the deployment ID for us. And once you copy that deployment, you can run the deployment from here. And as you can see, it gave us the run ID. And if you go here and if you just refresh your UI, the deployment is running now. And now what I'm going to do, we have another API to get the status of that particular run. If you click here, as you can see, it is running. In your system, what you can do is you can have some loop and sleep for 5 seconds and again check the status until this is completed. And so that once it is completed, you can do the further actions. Now, I just have a very basic script here, and I'm just going to wait till it's completed. And once it is completed, as you can see, it is completed. And I can check again whether the job is completed or not. And once the job is complete, then we have this API to fetch the results for that particular job. You just need to mention that run ID, the previous run ID that we got. And similarly, we have these headers where you have mentioned org and token. And once you run this, you'll be able to get the results from this. This is how you can use APIs to run a deployment and get the results. Here in this documentation, you will see many more APIs. For example, for the batches itself. Currently, we use only Create Batch API and upload a file. But there are many other APIs. If you want to list what all files you uploaded, if you want to delete a batch once the run is created, once the run is finished. And in case of run also, There are some APIs to list runs, delete run. And there are some APIs if your deployment is using some secrets. You can create those secrets using these APIs. And there are some more APIs if you want to read a file or folder metadata, and if you want to get some audit logs. Before you start integrating with AI Hub, making use of calling a deployment, getting results, make sure you go through this, all the APIs, understand, and then integrate with your system. Thank you. You can now use AI Hub APIs to integrate document processing into your applications and automate workflows programmatically.